Hanson was actually doing the restream, so it's actually cool to commentate one of his runs now on this end too.
Awesome. So what do you think we're going to find on the Uncle today?
I've seen a lot of fire rod. I'm kind of hoping for some bow because that tends to be a trolley item. Oh, well, we'll find out in a minute, won't we?
Yeah, we are underway. Just a big 20 to start off here.
Nothing wrong with that. Rubies are really, really good in this really early part going, so always good to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we get over to Kakariko, which is usually one of our runners' first checks, we've got to pay the bottle vendor 100 rupees, so very important to have that early on.
And then after that, you want to think about Zora, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself here.
No, no. Huh, okay, so Kane O'Brien.
I'm down with that. Originally, I never thought of that too much as a weapon, but I was like, hey, cool. And there's our 100 for the bottle vendor.
Nice.
Now, the interesting thing about the Kana Burna is that it pushes enemies upward only, from what I've seen.
Ah, okay. This is one of our trickier items to pick up from the Uncle here. There is a risk that you run out of magic as you're making your way through the escape sequence. One thing we also want to pick up that TheLostCarol has grabbed is a bomb.
Yeah, that's going to be good because we're going to want to check out the back of escape. That's always been an exciting part for me to see, so...
Oh yeah, like you said there, yeah, they go straight up when they're hit with a Kane O'Brien.
Exactly. Now, our runners are probably going to want to hope for half magic soon if they're going to be stuck with that cane, because that does eat up a lot of magic without the half magic, so...
All right, so the escape sequence is usually about somewhere between 6 and 7 minutes of game time. It's pretty straightforward, but if we get some interesting items along the way, then it might kind of shake up how this all plays out.
Well, more bombs, so neither player will have to worry about back of escape.
And it'll definitely help kind of pick up the pace. There's no need to be trying to farm them from enemies.
Either that or having to buy them from the store there in Kakariko.
Yeah.
And Hanson throwing some pots at the ball and chain trooper.
Probably not a bad idea, trying to save some of that magic.
It's always fun when they get fire rod because one hit and cooks them.
Yeah.
Ready for dinner. Though I believe if they do run out of magic, they can always do an intentional death, and I believe they get a quarter magic back if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that is what happens in that case. So if you ever do run out, then all you got to do is just take a death, and it'll give you back a little bit.
Thankfully, all is not lost, and death sometimes is a slap on the wrist in Randomizer, so no worry about no death runs.
This is true. So both of these runners are 1-1 right now in the tournament. They are capable of running times around the 2-hour mark, so that's pretty good. You know, some of our top runners do 120s and 130s, but anything that is sub 2 would be really great. So it'd be nice to see that from either one of our runners today.
Yeah, that, and I've had a run where somebody actually did their personal best on a race here, so that would be pretty cool if one of them got their own personal best too.
Very exciting, yeah.
Hanson doing a good job of avoiding the rope snakes there. Well, that was kind of a hard find. Map.
Well, I guess the only good side to that is that the remainder of the chests in Escape and in Sanctuary will all be items.
Exactly. So we're going to be getting a drum roll pretty soon.
Hopefully our runners find something of use.
I haven't seen a lot of stuff, but my first back of Escape had red mail, hammer, and Cane of Samaria, so I'm always excited to see what's in back of Escape. Flippers, I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't have to worry about those fake flippers, and that adds in Zora and Hobo pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely.
TheLostCarol going to be singing a happy tune over those flippers, I think.
And Hanson makes it through the Escape there in about 6:10, which is a pretty good time.
Not bad at all. Always a big tour to go through there. We'll have to see if either of them will check Lumberjack Cave after, because some runners have been doing it, but I've seen a trend lately. Some runners haven't checked it until they've needed to, so it's been kind of an interesting strategy.
Yeah, I've definitely been one of those where I have stopped checking the Lumberjack Cave. I don't quite know why I stopped, but I don't know, just the time loss.
And Hanson finding 4 sets of red rupees from that tree. Really nice. And Hanson is going to check Lumberjack Cave, and we will find just red rupees, so lower chance of an Agaseed.
But it's that little bit of intel, I think, that's kind of nice to have. You know, if you leave that check till much later in the run, you might not realize that you have to do Aghanim until much later, and your opponent might already be on their way.
As Ben Franklin once said, stitch in time saves 9, so I always tend to be one that checks the Lumberjack Cave no matter what.
Nice.
See, you can learn something in these streams.
All right, very quick map check there from TLC, and we see that Tower of Hera was one of our 5/6 crystals, and the other 2, Desert Palace and Eastern Palace, were both just regular crystals.
So we're gonna see, we may see a lot of skippable Dark World, but that's not to say that it's out of the running completely.
Yeah, we got all of our pendants in the Dark World, but that doesn't mean that we're not counting them out yet. There could still be items held within.
I've seen it happen. One of my previous runs had a vital item right in Swamp when it was a pendant, so sometimes it's always worth ducking in and checking.
Ooh, yeah.
And just about catching that so far from Blind's Hut. Ice Rod, there we go.
That is a nice find. It will only come into play if Turtle Rock is one of our crystal dungeons, or if there is an item on Trinex, which would be brutal. But having that item early is always nice.
Exactly, because it's one of those items that if you need it, it could be anywhere, so...
Yeah, I just don't want to have to do a world tour looking for that thing.
No, and only 20 rupees from the bottle vendor, so he's being a very shrewd trader today.
So the Lost Carol has enough bombs to get through all of Kakariko. We'll be able to root in the well here before Hanson was able to get to it. So this will be a new check for us.
Checking out Crazy Chicken Lady's hut.
So far, lots of big 20s in Kakariko. Oh, silver arrows. That's not bad.
Oh, not at all. That's ooh, and a power glove. Well, what do we have here? Moon Pearl, Power Glove, and Silver Arrows. Somebody's been stashing their stuff away just in case.
Yeah, that's a really nice find.
Would be an even nicer find is if they found the bow early too, because then that takes out a lot of bosses really quick.
Yeah. Ooh, Lost Carol trying to give us a chicken clip there.
I love that chicken clip glitch. I try to make sure to do that every time, just for fun.
I used to be a big fan of it until one time it kind of didn't work out in my favor, and I got stuck. It kind of soft locked me, so I stopped doing that in my own runs. But it is really cool to see.
I did not know it could do that. That's lame.
Yeah, you kind of get stuck in like the holding position, like you got an item above your head, even though the chicken has already left you, and so there's no way to resolve that until you take a save quit and reload.
And only a 5-arrow upgrade from the library, and we're checking race, and I think that was a shield. I didn't get a good look at it.
It looked like it was a shield, so Hanson choosing not to go for it.
Can always save it till later, especially if you get the progressive shield from somewhere else, because, I mean, shields aren't necessarily the best thing to have, but they do come in handy.
Yeah, they're not like an essential item, so a lot of runners will just leave them behind. So Hanson given us our first look at the South Shore area. We've got the dam here. Going to drain the dam first and then pick up the chest on a return trip inside.
And then that and Mini Moldorm Cave 2 will be coming right up, I would imagine, as well, which is always another exciting cave to check.
Yeah, 5 more items, so definitely worthwhile.
And just a little love from that, and the most useful blue rupee in the world. Interesting, Hanson taking a left here. I haven't seen this divergence yet.
Oh, he's looking for a bit of cash, it looks like, to maybe think about swimming up to Zora and rooting that in with Waterfall Cave as well.
Not a bad idea, because we do have quite a few rubies in there.
And I guess thinking, I've got the flippers already, I only want to use that warp and go up to the Zora area once. I might as well be able to pay off the fish as well.
I wouldn't expect him to do it, but he's close enough to Agnes Cave, where if you want to check that, he could too.
That's true as well, yeah.
It's not something I'd normally route in, but if you're that close to it anyway, I say why not?
Yeah.
Well, we got a Quake medallion, which
All
may
right.
or may not be useful.
Okay, yeah, might as well take it.
We'll have to see if it comes into play for Mile or Turtle Rock, or if we even need to go any of those. Ooh, Ooh, and Hanson getting an earful from the guy inside.
So I wonder if Lost Carol's going to take us all the way to Ice Rod Cave, or maybe just going to stop short here. Let's see what happens.
Gotta be careful, especially around those crabs. And it looks like Hanson is going in Agonist Cave. So if he does get something useful, it could really get a leg up at this point in the early going.
Definitely.
Fire Rod, definitely useful. Hanson must be happy at this point.
Yeah, that's a great find, and one of those out-of-the-way locations that your opponent might not check until a lot later into the run. So this will do him a lot of good.
And not only that, get a light source now. So once pick up a couple of items, Desert will be ready to go. At least fighting Lamelas.
Yeah. That would be assuming that the dungeon isn't boots locked, but we might find those soon enough as well.
Either that, or just does the second part of it if it gets a mirror.
Yep. But might need the big key, actually, which could be in the front part there.
Ah, good point, too. I was getting a little excited about that part. It's like, shiny, shiny, shiny. Oh, yeah, that's right.
So Lost Carol is going to be swimming all the way up to the hobo under the bridge here.
Good call on Hobo. The runs are outrageous otherwise. Not bad. Heart Container. And they're early going. I always find them pretty useful anyway. Oh, and Hanson taking a death there from the crab.
That's unfortunate. Was definitely trying to get up to Ice Rod Cave, but it is tricky. Those crabs really can body you in a hurry. 2 hearts of damage to a green male.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that a crab does. Oh, and there's some blue mail, so that's gonna tempt them for a while. And Lost Carol going over to Waterfall. Wonder if they'll go to Zora here, even though they don't have enough rupees to do so. Kind of interesting. Well, the Titan's Mint isn't a bad find, I'll say that much.
That's great. So that gives us our Dark World access. We've got Titan's Mitts, and we have the Moon Pearl.
And about 17 and a half minutes in. That's pretty cool. Ah, sword! I'm pretty sure Lost Carol's going to go for that.
Yes. So Lost Carol is not going to be able to check out what Zora has. Hanson will when he shows up on the scene. So it'll be interesting to see if Zora is holding anything today.
I haven't seen Zora holding a lot yet, but it's mostly been life lessons, but you never know with Zora.
Well, Agina's Cave is usually a bust as well, and today we saw the fire rod there, so this, who knows, Zora could be holding something good.
That's the fun part of Rando, you never know what you're gonna get. Speaking of getting things, Hanson got their Titan's Mitts, and now he has Dark World access.
So where is Carol going? Is he running all the way to Kakariko, but just took the south route instead?
That's what it's looking
Could
like
be.
to me.
All right, so Hanson is going to be paying off the big fish here.
Oh, something fishy going on here. Just a bomb upgrade.
So that's good news for the Lost Carol. Hopefully they don't waste too much time heading back that way in this run.
Yeah, because that's really an out-of-the-way thing unless you're checking catfish out.
So Turtle Rock is our green pendant, and we have blue and red pendants in Skull Woods and Ice Palace. Palace of Darkness is our 6 crystal.
So it's going to be good. Runners have a low chance of going into Ice Palace, which is kind of everybody's not favorite dungeon. Those Skull Woods is always usually worth a check, just because it's so short. It's got 2 items in it, and it's been having some useful stuff in it on the runs I've seen, so it doesn't hurt to dip in real quick.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Hanson's going to be in better shape. I found that in version 29 of the randomizer here, the back part of Skullwoods has been more loaded. So with that fire rod in hand, if he chooses to, he'll be able to go all the way back to the back there.
Just a map so far and compass. Gotta watch those Gibdos at this early stage. They are tanks. And just a piece of heart from the chess game. And picking up our first shield in the Lost Woods, so that's 1 out of 2 items there. And so this room is always fun in Skullwoods if you don't have the Cane of Samaria. Hanson only getting 20 rupees from the Sea House. Didn't catch it was in the bomb hut, unfortunately.
It was just a piece of heart, so nothing too big here in Village of Outcasts so far. But Hanson will be giving us our first look at Thieves Town here, so this will be interesting.
And big key right away. Even if Thieves Town is a pendant dungeon, there's 4 chests like right in the beginning area, so that's even more worth it to go check. Ooh, LostCarol taking a death there, unfortunately. That room is is it a death warp? Oh, it was a death warp.
It might have been a death warp, yeah. Hanson picked up 300 rupees in one of the first chests in Thieves Town there, so that'll kind of help cover the costs spent on that Zora play. All right, so he grabs a small key there, and he'll be on his way to the back of Thieves Town, likely. Might as well clear it out while you're here.
Yeah, exactly, especially where it is a crystal dungeon. Get your first crystal. Just got to be wary of doing blind with so few hearts. I've seen a lot of close calls with it, but blind at 6 or 7 hearts is not easy.
No, definitely not.
And the Thieves Town Hellway is certainly earning its name today. Crickets are no fun either, but thankfully they have the mouse AI, so they can be easily avoided sometimes.
Yeah, another one of those surprising enemies, like the crabs, who deliver big hits.
Interesting how crabs and crickets do more damage than fully trained soldiers.
Yeah, right?
Boy, nature, what have you done? But Hanson gets an extra heart container, so that's going to help out when he goes to clear out blind. Lost Carol and Diggy game.
Eight 18 digs for a mushroom. Now, in our runner bios, that is an item that Lost Carol does not like to see, the mushroom. It's another fetch quest. It's out of the way. So I can understand why seeing that mushroom would not bring Lost Carol much joy.
No, I'm pretty sure it's badgering him right now. Oh, Stumpy's got the Cane of Samaria. Phantom Ryu's going to be excited if he's watching.
That's a pretty good find.
Yeah, especially right there, because now puts Meyer more on the table now, at least.
Yeah, we're getting closer to that, I guess. Looking for maybe like the flute would bring that into logic. If we had either the boots or hookshot, we'd be able to go right on in.
Oh, I think we got some hype for Hype Cave now. Last one I saw a couple of swords. What'll it be?
Oh, the Bombos medallion. That's nice.
Not much but Bombos, but it could come into play, but not as hype as I was hoping for. Meanwhile, blind with a pun that I haven't seen before. Blind is very
careful. Oh.
Yeah, that's blind that early with green mail is always really difficult. Kudos on Hanson there. That's not easy.
But he's given it another go here, so round 2 upcoming.
Thankfully, it's not a long trek back to blind, so that's always a good thing.
I'm really interested to see what Carol's going to be doing here. Oh, okay. Heading up to the waterfall area again. Going to turn in the mushroom.
Not a bad idea. Good use of warps. It's not something I generally think of.
Yeah, that probably saves a little bit of time. Oh, especially with no boots or anything like that, to get to the witch's hut from the kind of north side. Not a bad play.
Not at all. We'll have to see if it pays off. And Hanson now into the hard part of the blind. Oh, there we go. Nice cane. Oh, so close.
Meanwhile, on Lost Carol's side, we find the flute.
Oh, that's got to be an exciting find right there for Lost Carol. So I think Hanson's deciding to give up on that for now. Don't blame him any.
No, yeah. I wonder if this flute find will change Carol's opinion on the mushroom.
That's a good point. Who knows? That might be something to ask him later on.
Yeah, definitely.
And meanwhile, I think Hanson's going to be getting their mushroom, I believe, from the Diggy game. Unless my memory fails me again. Oh, yep, nope.
There it is. Now, Lost Carol's going to be bringing to us the Hylian National Anthem.
That was beautiful.
Sure was.
And Hanson with our Smitty Frog friend. We'll be getting the Cane of Samaria probably in just a moment.
And Blacksmiths is not a play that TheLostCarol made, so this will be interesting to see if the Blacksmiths are holding anything today.
And hopefully we get a Meyer check here. Is it? Quake can go in.
All right.
Well, not much in the shed there, just a bunch of junk.
And that's all that Carol's going to check at this point. Can't get over to the checkerboard cave because we need the mirror still, so that's not a bad call. Let's see where they decide to go next. At this point, I'm thinking Death Mountain is probably where we're going to go. Or Light World. Okay, yep, all right, this will work.
Probably picking up their fire rod now.
This is a good play. It's a better play than Carol even realizes, I think. You know, just wanting to get Agina out of the way, like, but this time Agina is actually holding something of value.
Yeah, usually when I get the flute, though, it might not be a bad idea if they can traverse the dark to get the old man and set that waypoint for Death Mountain access.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good call. And given what we have access to, I was just going to say, I think Eastern Palace is a good idea because we haven't seen Sahasrah's hut yet.
No, not at all. Eastern Palace is, when I am playing it, it's usually one of those things where if I can't think of anywhere else to go, that's kind of where I jump in and check it, even if I don't have the bow yet.
Yeah, because it's a dungeon that's so early in the game that you can just walk right on in at any point. So the items in the first few chests there are all in logic right as soon as you start. So it could be something valuable there.
And I'm starting to wonder if Hanson is going for a Skull Woods check, or... Nope.
Might, if having just done the blacksmiths, might do purple chest now.
Love and the Cape.
So the cape will come in handy if we have anything hanging out on the Bumper Cave ledge.
And they're also pretty set once they get the hammer to check out Spike Cave, so... Might work out good.
Yeah, Hanson is taking the purple chest up north here. Maybe going to be doing a check to see what's going on at the Bumper Cave.
Always a good call. It's kind of interesting this run so far. The players have been making some checks, and the checks that usually don't have a whole heck of a lot of them have been working out for them more often than not. So that's pretty cool on this seat so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, and it is the most useful item of all, the single green rupee.
Oh, and it looks like the Murder-dactyls have claimed another victim.
Murder-dactyls 1, Hanson zip, unfortunately.
Although I guess in a way it kind of works out because he's still got Chester, the lunchbox, kind of sticking behind him there. He'll be able to run him down right quick.
Chester, I didn't even realize it had a name.
Yeah, I don't think he does, but I was doing commentary with Big John the other day, and he called it Chester, and I thought, that is perfect. I'm using that.
Do it. I didn't see what was in the first chest in Eastern, unfortunately.
I too missed it, but hopefully we catch it on the Twitch stream there. Oh, is that the hook shot? Oh my god.
That was a hook shot.
Wow.
Now this is working out. Hanson's going to be pretty excited about that too. Once he hopefully returns the mushroom, pretty much easy going on that Death Mountain access.
Yeah. And I would say that he probably doesn't have too many other locations to check. The hookshot on its own isn't opening up too much, so the mushroom is likely going to be turned in next. Or he's heading towards Eastern Palace, which, you know, Sahasrah's hut, and the first part of Eastern, yeah, okay, is also a play that makes sense.
Yeah, I probably would do that too, to be honest. I wouldn't be thinking too much on the mushroom if I was doing this seed, so...
Yeah.
And
so TheLostCarol is going to be navigating the dark rooms here.
The first two dark rooms aren't all that bad, because that first room's a square, and then it's the second one, so really just move forward, up a little bit, and you get the key. So it's not that bad.
No, these ones are not too bad. Fairly easy to pick up with a little bit of practice.
The dark room behind the big key, though, that can be a real big stinker.
Yeah. That one is like deceptively difficult. You think, oh, it's a pretty basic kind of room, but those enemies move around, and you can get in a world of hurt in no time.
It's mainly hard because you can't see the rock lops, but boy, they can see you.
Yeah. So at this point, this run is pretty interesting because Carol has the flute and Hanson has the hookshot. Together, those things would be very useful, but apart, there's not really too much that either thing can do for our runners.
And I think we found all three items in Eastern Palace so far. It's 250 rupees and a piece of heart.
Oh, I see. Carol is heading back into Zora. Okay, because now has 500 rupees, is thinking that might be where the progression lies.
But the only thing that's going to be progressing is Zora's wallet, unfortunately.
And because we haven't seen the mirror yet, that doing blacksmith, save and quitting, and then doing purple chest as well, that's a lot of legwork to take on. So I can imagine that Carol's not thinking about that as the first thing to get done, but is going to soon find that they'll be running out of locations to check as well.
Indeed, especially with the lack of Pegasus boots too, taking even longer. I'm sure both of these runners have been really thinking about their running and how to be a little more efficient in it. They're doing great so far. I'm not knocking them. It's just a general statement.
Yeah, no, so far, everything that they've been doing, kind of knocking off locations, has made sense. It's, you know, the way that the sea has kind of progressed, it's been a little bit unusual. Not a lot of items that are immediately progression kind of items. So it takes a little while to figure that kind of stuff out.
And TheLostCarol going up Death Mountain, unfortunately not going to be able to access as much as Hanson will when he finally gets up there. Just bombs inside. And bombs outside.
So that means there is not much up there for TheLostCarol at this time.
Spectacle Rock is bombastic.
So TheLostCarol might, it's possible, might go a little further into Skull Woods, or is heading back into Village of Outcasts here. Hasn't actually gone into Thieves Town, is that correct? I don't think they have.
I don't think so either. I think he's I think he went into Skull Woods, but hasn't really checked inside that much. Nope. As our resident pitchfork blockage shows us.
Yeah.
Grab your torch and pitchforks. This is a big key.
Now, Hanson, on the other hand, has already been into Thieves Town, might be thinking that Skull Woods is now his next best play. Or also not. I'm not doing a good job of predicting what our runners are going to be doing here.
Predicting the unpredictable, that's always a difficult thing. We
Yeah.
don't fall to him not being clairvoyant.
He's back for revenge. He's going to be taking on Blind, hoping that Blind has got an item for progression on him.
Yeah, I know one of the items was 300 rupees. I haven't really seen I didn't catch a lot of the other items. I think one was a heart container too.
So 9 hearts this time around. That's a little bit more generous. Just got to avoid getting hit by the floating heads, I would say, because those do 2 hearts of damage to green male.
The good news about Blind is that no matter what sword you have, he always takes the same amount of hits. So whether you come in with Butter Sword or just a simple fighter sword, that's that much less you have to worry about. And Hanson not getting revenge yet, but it's a valiant effort though.
All right, having had a little bit more trouble with Blind and choosing to leave him for later, heading into maybe Skullwoods now.
Yeah, that's what it looks like so far.
Those crickets dropping a couple of nice items there, just a bomb and a heart just when Carol was looking for some. That's kind of nice.
The other kind of quiet part of Rando I like is that all the prize items are randomized as well, so you never know what you're going to get from the enemies even further.
Yeah.
Hanson got to be careful here on those Gibdos. They ain't fooling around.
So Carol making his way through Thieves Town here quite nicely. We'll be into the blind fight shortly and see if they'll be able to take care of the boss there.
Yeah, just a compass that probably may have to come back and check out the big key chest if I'm not mistaken, if my item count is correct.
Yeah, and that's another one of those spots that a lot of runners choose not to even go into Thieves Town unless they already have the hammer, because they want to be able to full clear it and not mess around coming back here at some point. So hopefully, for our runners' sake, there's nothing hanging out down there.
Oh yes, an easy can of Samaria.
That does make that Gibdos room a little bit easier to take.
It's a lot easier when you don't have to worry about Gibdos as you're pulling things around, so... Wallmaster coming in handy there. So it looks like Hanson is going to check the back of Thieves Town here. I think there's only one item left to check, so if he finds that item in the chest on the right there, he may peace out.
Yeah, and that might help him out in moving in another direction to get him kind of going, because he seems like he's been kind of spinning his wheels for a little bit here. Carol, unfortunately, also taking a death to Blind. Blind is not playing nicely today.
Blind is as strong as his puns are, so...
But it looks like Carol is going to be taking the Jeremiah back to his home. If he keeps going and follows through with Purple Chest as well after this, then we'll pick up the hookshot and we'll be in really good shape.
And Hanson, it looks like, is going to continue on and fight Mothula. Hopefully we'll pick up a little more magic in the meantime. Nice idea doing the vanilla way through, picking up some items on the way. Good call.
Uh-oh.
Boy, those mummies are all out for hugs.
Yeah. I have a feeling that death might have been intentional because Hanson might have run out of magic, or at least didn't collect enough magic to actually take care of the torches there.
Yeah, that's always the hard one, but at least it's early on, and not like at Mothula or something, so you don't have to go back so far.
Yeah.
So I guess you can say Hanson did want his mummy after all. The joke writes itself.
Oh, unfortunately, running out of magic before lighting that final torch.
Those Gibdos, if you're not paying attention, or if they're just in a bad mood, they will really ruin your day.
So Carol returned the blacksmiths and is now checking out the bumper ledge here. Are they going to go back and do Purple Chest? This is really key.
I'm wondering now. Hanson doesn't seem to be very eager to turn to Mushroom. He's gonna need to do that eventually, but kind of wondering when he's gonna do so.
Yeah, and looks like TheLostCarol might be checking out Catfish at this point.
Kind of wondering if that's maybe what Hanson's gonna do as well. Kind of going this way means that to me.
Yeah, I would say that's what we're likely seeing here. Given that we only have the Titan's Mitts, although we do have access to the Dark World, it's only limited to a couple of locations. And for Hanson at this point, it's just the Thieves Town portal. Well, I guess technically the portal into Ice Palace as well will be possible to reach.
Worth it.
Nice.
Who can say no to a Master Sword? Nobody, especially when you can't beat Ganon with just a little rinky-dinky fighter sword.
That's true. The big pig takes no damage from the fighter sword.
Won't help with Blind, unfortunately, but will help with those Gibdos.
Yes.
Too bad Hanson didn't have the mirror, because this would be a good place to mirror warp and then go drop off the mushroom.
I know. Maybe just walking past this part of the dark world might jog him to get him to check that mushroom at some point soon.
Hopefully so. Ooh, yeah, they haven't picked up any bottles. That's even rougher. So Sid could still have something on the table.
So Hanson choosing to make the run all the way back here. I'm wondering we'll see Pyramid Ledge and perhaps a look into Palace of Darkness.
Could very well be. Oh yeah, I think we're getting a pyramid check now.
And if Palace of Darkness isn't bow-locked, if that first chest on the left side contains a small key, then Hanson will be able to get a little bit further in the dungeon. There could be something progression-related in there. Oh, the mirror! Sitting on the pyramid ledge.
That's gonna make Hanson really happy right about now.
Now, does he immediately go and turn in that mushroom? Please, just do it.
I think he's taking a moment to reflect on this. It looks like it's going to be a pod play right now, maybe? No, I think we're going to... Oh, hobo. Or not hobo.
Ice Palace?
Blue male, I bet.
Yeah, good call. That is what it is.
Yeah, especially where blind has been so troublesome, I cannot blame him one bit. I would say Pod wouldn't be that bad of a play for Hanson, too, if he was making his way up there, only because Pod's seeming to, more often than not, in any of the rando seats that I've seen, a lot of the times that has something.
Yeah, it's a dungeon with the possibility of having 6 unique items in it. So definitely a worthwhile play. There could be something of progression value in there.
More often than not, regardless of what version the randomizer seat's at, the randomizer program is at, it's been more often than not, it does have something progression in it. So that's actually a really good call from Hanson, I think.
Yeah, considering that he's been very reluctant to turn in the mushroom, which we know has the flute, he needs something. And so this, like, by the numbers, is a pretty high-density location to be checking.
Possible could have forgotten about it, too, which I hope not. Though with this here, could be routing himself to it in a way, so we'll have to see.
Giving us a little fake out there. You can't go to the bow side without the bow there, Hanson.
Gotta put a bow on that side of the dungeon. Be hilarious if this chest did have the bow.
It does not, but it has a small key, so we'll be able to take a little further look into this dungeon.
Nothing wrong with that.
I see our tracker melee wizard asking in the chat there, is that 5 combined deaths to blind Sapphire? I think it might be. We should probably get it. We should get like a blind tracker going on here.
Tempered sword.
That's nice.
Gonna make the bosses that much easier, especially with the jump in damage from Master to Tempered is fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I believe now there's been a glitch allowed in this tournament here in Pod, where if you don't have the bow, you can actually progress without it. Are you familiar with that glitch?
I am somewhat versed in it. I don't know. I've never actually tried it myself, but Yeah, over on that bow locked side, it's something to do with like manipulating the screen so that the enemies in there's the lamp. That's a pretty big find. That means that Hanson can go even further into this dungeon if the keys work out.
Yeah, you don't want to navigate that maze without it. I've seen it once in a previous run, and kudos to them. I couldn't do it.
Right. So the glitch that we have in that on that bow side, you're required to have a bottle, I believe, and to be you have to use the item that's in the bottle, whether it's a bee or a potion, and you have to then try to manipulate the screen so that the mimics that are in that room walk off screen, and then it tricks the game into thinking that you've defeated all the enemies, and then you can make your way through that door that is usually locked.
Nice. That is a very interesting glitch. I wasn't quite sure how it worked, but I knew it existed. Thanks for that explanation.
Yeah, that was an okay explanation. I think that is how it works. It's kind of a weird one, but it's been allowed in this tournament, so I haven't seen it pulled off yet. But it'd be interesting to see if it comes down to that for a runner at some point in the tournament.
Yeah, I think it's just for that particular spot, though. Using it anywhere else is a no-no.
Yeah.
And finally, Blind getting his comeuppance, and Blind's revenge with just a map.
So I think that does mean that there is something down in that big chest in the basement.
Absolutely. Blind is probably chuckling in his grave now and being, haha, you suckers, you're a dum-dum.
Oh, I think I really like what Hanson's doing here. He's got the mirror in hand, and he's heading right towards the mushroom spot.
Somebody's gonna be excited in a moment, methinks.
Oh no, what's he doing?
Not.
Oh, is he gonna do Graveyard Ledge first here, I think.
Okay, that's fair, that's fair. I was getting scared for a second, and TheLostCarol gonna get their hook shot pretty soon.
This is going to be one of those things where both of our runners are going to think they are so far behind because they left these items for so long.
Hopefully that doesn't leak into their gameplay, because they're doing fantastic. I would hate for them to try to rush themselves and do even more deaths, especially with all the blind deaths that have been happening.
Yeah.
I know if I died 2 or 3 times to blind, I would be like, oh my god, I am so far behind. Something help me.
And TheLostCarol, unfortunately not catching a ride with the swag duck that time, but immediately going to be heading to Death Mountain now that we have the hookshot in hand.
And Hanson moving farther away.
No.
Sometimes it's hard as commentators. You want to pull them in a certain direction, and be like, no, you here. But I guess Death Mountain is actually not a bad call either. So I can't blame Hanson for that.
This actually, I guess, it does make sense. Picking up the lamp, it now puts Death Mountain in logic for him, and with the hookshot, he'll be able to get right over to where Carol is now, just doing it a bit of a different way.
And I'll be able to clear out more of the Death Mountain in one go, too. So we're going to find out what we have in this cave. Not much yet, but there's still 5 chests to see. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm really worried if we find nothing here, it's going to be kind of tough for our runners. But there's got to be something here, I imagine.
Well, we get 5 chests. Let's see. There's our bottle. Two bottles and a hammer are going to be able to take up some bottled out anger finally. And go check out Dark World easier.
Yeah, that hammer is a pretty key find. Given the items that they have right now, this is putting Swamp Palace into play, which is probably not a bad idea.
Oh no, especially where Swamp Palace has about six items in it.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and Hera. Good idea. I almost forgot about Hera.
Oh, and the bow.
Oh ho ho ho! I like it.
Huh, this is really interesting. I mean, Hanson has been able to pick up quite a few items that are going to help him along in his run here. It's just going to be a matter of when he gets back to the flute, because that will be required to get over to Misery Mire at some point in this run.
And Hanson and Tile Room, will we see coffee break? I had mine before the run started, but that's neither here nor there. True story too, but yes.
So with the items that Hanson's picked up, he's going to have a lot of things to check in the near future here. The mirror, and if he gets over to East Death after this, which he will, pick up the hammer. So Swamp Palace will be in play for him. With the bow now, we're talking about Eastern Palace and Pod at this point.
Yeah, I think now getting the hammer isn't going to be as big of a deal. Not the hammer, the flute. There we go. Isn't going to be as big of a deal now. So just with all the progression items they've got, I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, it'll come into play at the very end, I imagine, when we head for Misery Mire, assuming we leave that one till a little bit later. Carol finding the powder there in Super Bunny Cave.
Always handy, especially for getting rid of anti-fairy. So good call. We're gonna check a hookshot cave. Did we see what was on the island yet, or?
I'm afraid I didn't see it, and I don't think we would have, because I think Carol warped to Dark World before we got a look at the top there.
Some bombs, bloomerang, and a whole lot of love.
Okay, that's not too bad. And we might get a check of Turtle Rock or not. No, okay, probably heading over to Spike Cave at this point.
And Hanson looks like taking the vanilla way. No, just going right up to Moldorm. I think they found both items. I think we got bow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so the second item was a piece of heart that was found on the 4th floor there. So no need to check any more chests here.
And a nice, clean Moldorm fight. And it's just a single arrow in Spike Cave, the game's version of an inappropriate gesture, I think.
Okay, so this is going to be kind of interesting because Carol, by warping into the Dark World and not heading back over towards Hera, is going to miss out on the bow for now. But, I mean, hammer in hand, fire rod, we might see Ice Palace, possibly? Oh, Sick Kid first.
Ice Palace is a pendant, so I suspect they're not going to want to go into it unless they absolutely have to. But Sick Kid loves it when you bring a bottle, so that's going to make up for things.
I forgot that Ice Palace was a pendant, and it's not one of the more attractive ones either. It's just the red pendant, I think. So yeah, even less reason to head down there.
Yeah, if I don't have to go to Ice Palace in my randos, I don't want to go to Ice Palace in my randos.
No.
I'll just give it the cold shoulder, thank you.
Oh, nice.
Especially where I'm still learning to bomb jump it a little bit, which is the reason why I haven't entered the tournament yet. Hanson getting their hammer now. Gotta be excited.
So it'll be interesting to see where Carol decides to go then. I feel like Hanson will probably have a couple of options that they'll take advantage of with the items that they have at this time. But I feel like that bow is going to be kind of holding Carol back a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too, because especially with that bow is so vital in many places. Because Hanson can now finish Eastern, can finish Pod. Lots of places could go with that.
It also probably means that Hanson is going to neglect that mushroom a little bit longer, which is okay. We've learned that he can put that off for a little bit, but he's going to be looking for the flute, and eventually he's going to have to make his way to the witch's hut.
Yeah, because you can't get into Mire without the flute, so that's gonna be an important one. At least he doesn't have to look for the medallion, though.
And Carol giving us our first look at hammer pegs here. Okay, just a piece of heart, nothing too exciting.
Yeah, but why not? Hey, you get 2 more, you get another heart, so yeah, it helps. Meanwhile, Hanson in Super Bunny Cave. I love that glitch with the mirror in the Japanese 1.0 there, where if you use the mirror as you're pushing a block, it just deletes it entirely.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Sound effect isn't even laughable for that, too. You're gone. Hanson picking up the powder, too, so can collect insurance fairies now if needed.
And the Lost Carol choosing to go into Ice Palace. You know, I don't blame him at this point, given the items that he's got. But I don't know that, like, as we were kind of talking about, I don't know how much value is actually going to be in here.
Exactly, and it's kind of big time sink if you have to full clear this dungeon without and not just go through and get it. So this could put him behind a little.
However, on the flip side of that, if we find something that we're needing to get through the rest of the game, some other piece of progression, which actually, looking at the trackers, there's not a whole lot left on the board when it comes to progression items. The only thing that could be getting in our way at this point is boots, if in fact Desert Palace is boots locked.
Yeah, that is a good call there. They are pretty close to go mode anyway. Hanson being a little bit closer too, but yeah, they've been finding a good assortment so far in this last hour or so. And chat pointing out that double quake is what's on our medallion menu today.
You know, you never want to see that on a pendant Turtle Rock. You're always hoping that it's a medallion that you don't have. You know, you don't want to have to go into that dungeon. It takes forever.
Well, considering the amount of items that they do have right now, if Desert isn't actually boots locked, then they don't even have to worry about it. So there's a pretty good chance they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
I could be wrong, but I put money on it.
I mean, we could still have Desert Bee boots locked and have the boots hanging out on the laser bridge, which would be maybe the worst case scenario.
Oh, don't remind me. I had to do laser bridge last night in my
Ugh.
fun run. And also with Lost Carol, this is a tricky bomb jump. I had a lot of trouble with this last night too, so I can't blame him here.
Yeah, everyone has a bit of like a different point of reference they might want to use for the bomb jump here. Some use the sword and where it's positioned underneath the shadow of the bomb. Other people use like kind of like something from the top of their sprite to kind of line up against the wall. But it is a very tricky and precise jump to pull off.
Though it is one of the first you want to learn if you're going to really do some rando stuff, so it's a good one to practice anyway.
It is.
And Hanson going back into pod here. Good call.
Yeah, and with the mirror in hand, we'll be able to mirror over and take care of Eastern Palace right after this. So, yeah, this is a good call. Has a bit of work to do for the next little while, and can kind of think about maybe other locations that they want to check out a little later.
Exactly, and there's still a good number of items to find in pod too. So, and then in Eastern can just run right through and kill the Armos Knights, which is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially those silver arrows, one hit each. Boom, 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 boom. Lost Carol, unfortunately, having to take the long way around, but I can't say I blame him. I ended up having to do that myself. It's just something you really don't want to do in Ice Palace. This is exactly what you worry about when you have to do this in a run. And nice fancy footwork from Hanson in Pod Hellway. More keys too. Can always use more keys in pod. There's a lot to unlock there.
Yeah, so many locked doors in this dungeon.
Might as well, instead of being Palace of Darkness, Palace of Doors.
Yeah.
Nice use of Canis Samaria there to get by the beetles there. I actually didn't know you could do that. That's pretty cool. And just a key for Carol. Probably not what he wanted to find there. Ether! Not really needed, but still pretty cool to find all the same. And since Hanson I don't think he's really checked anything. Well, he hasn't been able to check anything yet, I don't believe. But since you have all three medallions, it's good peace of mind.
Yeah. I have it, especially for him having not been over to the Meyer area. He has no idea what that medallion might be. So with all three in pocket, no worries there.
And there's our big key, so hopefully something good in the big chests there. And just a piece of heart for Carol there, and gonna have to do the runaround all over again. Carol...
Yeah, this is one of the... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Carol's gonna be really feeling behind right now. Go ahead with you, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say more or less the same thing. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Ice Palace is if you're not like go-moding it, it can be a dungeon that really drags itself out. And every second that you're not finding anything, you feel like you're just completely wasting time here.
And, there we go.
I almost thought that there was some kind of strategy where Bombos worked on the anti-fairies for some reason. I thought, does Carol have some like insider knowledge that I don't know about? That would be very cool.
But I think it was just a slip of the button, unfortunately. But it happens to the best of us. No fault there. We are gonna see a cold stare fight now.
I kind of wonder. I think, based on what I'm seeing key count wise, I think that Cold Stare might just have a key.
And to refill the magic, good. Nice to have that green bottle there.
Should be just a couple of spins here, and Cold Stare will go down.
Still want to be careful of those rocks, though. The Cold Stare does a lot of damage if you have green and aren't prepared for it. Well, 300 rupees, so
okay.
little cash.
So Carol really has to get over to the pyramid to pick up his mirror. That's going to be real clutch, I think, to get him kind of moving in the right direction.
That and potentially the bow as well in Tower of Hera, so that's gonna have to make his way back up to Death Mountain again.
I wonder if he might decide to kind of go the long way around up Death Mountain. Finding the mirror would like shorten that journey, but with the items that he's got, Carol can definitely get all the way around to the tower.
Wouldn't necessarily have to, because can flute up to Death Mountain and then just kind of go grab the old man the back way.
Oh, I just mean like going over to East Death and then up to the top and then over with the hammer.
Oh, right, that too. Excuse me,
yeah.
I was thinking something completely different.
And that might be what we're seeing here. I hope so, because I mean, even getting the bow will be one thing that Carol can start focusing on.
Absolutely, because once you get that bow, I mean, not only does it open up stuff, it's just peace of mind. I've noticed the bow be almost as bad as the ice rod with how it can be anywhere in the world just about, so...
Yeah, it's one of those items that can definitely elude our runners, so picking that up will definitely kind of put Carol on track to do a couple of things in the run.
The good news is, though, that neither of our fighters are going to have to do Silverless Ganon later on, so that's probably a load off their minds.
That's a big plus, yeah.
Nice short work there from Hanson in that Stalfos room. Carol's going to be singing a happy song there.
Just a slight pause there. Oh, this is where it was. Great.
That's either a happy pause or a sad pause. We'll have to ask later.
Yeah.
Eastern Palace being a nice quick clear here for Hanson, as predicted. And Carol with a coffee break, kind of good, a good time to collect your thoughts here, because this is one of the rare moments in a tourney race like this you can sit down and just kind of check your notes.
Definitely, yeah, good idea.
And Hanson has now 2 crystals under his belt with Eastern Palace and Pod. And so now we gotta wonder, where's the next play gonna be at?
Yeah, I guess based on what he's working with there, if I was Hanson, I think maybe Swamp Palace?
I could see that. I think we are gonna see that.
I'm really wanting to see what the status of Desert Palace is at this point. I need to know if it's boots locked or not, because I mean our runners are so close to go mode otherwise.
Yeah, that too, because yeah, it could be doing Swamp here too, and then kind of making the way over to the left. So that's gonna be an interesting call there.
Oh, and I've also just noticed that Hanson, having done Tower of Hera and Palace of Darkness, those are our 2 5/6 crystals, which means that the Pyramid Fairy is now in play as well.
Nice. I totally forgot about that being a red crystal there. So that's a good call as well. Here's our swamp play. Swamp with 6 items inside.
Yeah, definitely by density, it's a good call when you're still looking for items. You know, Hanson doesn't know where that flute is, having not turned in his mushroom. And I guess still looking for boots on the unknown status of Desert Palace at this point.
Yeah, that could be a worry on his mind as well. But just having the boots anyway is just good to pick up some speed.
Yeah.
Where you don't know if the other runner has got him or not. I mean, there's going to be some points where you feel really behind, so that's probably something weighing in on his mind as well. To answer a question in chat, I believe it was arrow upgrade in the live. Oh no, we don't know pedestal yet. I was thinking library. Excuse me.
Yeah, we don't know the pedestal, but Craggy P, you are right in the logic. We could clear out all of the pendant dungeons at this time, so boots could be on there. It's the only thing that we might need that could be on there at this time.
And wouldn't that be trolly?
That would be pretty rough.
But if that's the case, though, then Desert is boot locked, then actually Carol's going to be more ahead than he realizes.
Yeah, as long as if Carol could pick up the mirror sometime soon, they'll be able to actually head into Desert and check out its situation. But given that we just found the bow, I think it's likely that Carol is going to do the pod play, which makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, if I got bow, I would be excited to finish those 2 off as well, since it's quick enough to get 2, like I said earlier, 2 crystals in one go, so... And a
So
little more. So go
not
ahead.
seeing too not seeing too much in swamp here.
I have a feeling Hanson may be saving, if he does do it, Hanson's going to save left side where you can warp out right after, so not a bad play.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah. So the only thing that's slowing Hanson down here is just the lack of flute. I feel like he's been full clearing all the dungeons that he's been doing so far because he is still looking for it and doesn't realize where it is. It's too bad, I guess, because it'd be nice to be kind of moving through a dungeon like Swamp Palace here real quick and not have to worry about that. But it's got to be one of his checks coming up soon. He's going to start to run out of locations to check.
because I have a feeling though he's going to be checking it as one of the last locations possible, and especially where it's not like right available to see in his inventory, it's probably going to take him a little bit longer.
That's true, because now that he's got powder, it is taking up that space there when you quickly glance at your menu.
There we go. Argus not playing nice at first, but Hanson finally makes some good work of him.
So, given what Hanson has on his plate here, I wonder if he might finally go and take care of Blind once and for all.
That's probably a good point. He's probably ready and willing to go give Blind some comeuppance.
Yeah.
Funny how that cake pun being like a piece of cake turned out to be the most ironic thing he could ever say.
So with Carol here in pod at the moment, we'll full clear this because still looking for the mirror. But I'm kind of hoping that once they're done with Palace of Darkness, they decide to walk out and check out the pyramid ledge.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Like each has a vital item that the other doesn't have. Where Carol's got the flute, but not the mirror. And Hanson has the mirror, but not the flute.
Yeah, and this late into the run, it's unusual that they haven't come across the item that they're missing at this point.
Not too surprising with Hanson, but Carol, a little interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, and Carol hasn't picked up the lamp yet either. I almost forget about that. The lamp is here, though, so...
Just playing this dungeon on hard mode, I guess.
Well, at least it's not a hard area to maneuver through, aside from the anti-fairies.
No, yeah, that room looked really clean. If we decide to go for the maze room, the dark maze, be interesting to see if Carol can pull that off. That's a trickier one.
It's going to be as much fun as a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit, let me tell you. Excuse me while I wipe the dripping sarcasm off my face. And there's that big key for Hanson.
And I looked away for just a tenth of a second there, and I missed what was in the second chest on the left side there.
I think it was some... I don't think it was much. I think it was just some rupees.
Okay.
I didn't fully see it myself, but it didn't look like a whole heck of a lot.
Oh, it looks like it was just 10 arrows.
And 20 rupees!
Oh, a bit of a bust on the left side today.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where Hanson goes to after this one.
Might be heading to south of the Haunted Grove, Cave 45 here.
Ah, yes, I haven't checked that yet. Good call.
Unfortunately, TheLostCarol noping out of Palace of Darkness. The Dark Maze was just a bit too much for him. Unfortunately, the lamp is in Palace of Darkness, so might need to pick that up at some point.
That's gonna be a bummer there. Alright, 10 arrows. Hanson, where do we go from here? Also, Carol, where do we go from here?
What's left on this part of the in this part of the world that Carol hasn't seen yet?
Hanson going to Bomb Shop, and if he remembers, he might actually finally turn in that mushroom.
Ooh, Carol is heading down to the big chest here in Thieves Town, which we know has an item. Both of our runners came into Thieves Town the first time without the hammer, so they were not able to open up this chest. So this will be new. If it's the boots, then that's great. That is something that we might actually need, but there can't be too much else down there, unfortunately.
I don't think it'll be too much of a catch-up thing for Carol, unfortunately, because Hanson still has to finish off blind and might route that into going to check out on the way there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But still, every little bit helps.
Man, just a double big 20s there.
Seeing red again, goodness. All right, Hanson, going left.
I don't think he's ever going to turn in that mushroom.
Oh, just 20 rupees. Oh, that's going to be disappointing. Oh, definitely disappointing. You can see it in Carol's bomb.
Oh, Hanson is going to be picking up a heart container from the sick kid here. Hasn't done that yet.
Ah, yes, that's right. Fetch Questy.
Okay, so TheLostCarol is heading into the Dark World here. From this portal, it's not a bad play to head over to the Pyramid Ledge.
No, not at all. Not gonna be able to do the super bomb, but it's a good place to check the ledge. You're right.
I think this is what we're seeing here. This is really good for Carol.
Plus, if he feels like it, he can go back in a pod.
Yes.
And Hanson finally gonna go get his revenge. Full health, 13 hearts, and blue mail. Oh, absolutely prepared. You better believe it. Carol with mirror now.
All right, so what does Carol do with the mirror at this point?
Well, with the mirror in hand, I think bombing the place where the mirror is at was the first priority. And Hanson finally taking care of Blind, shooting some victorious arrows all over the place.
And Carol is going to be diving into Swamp Palace, I think.
I can understand Carol's frustration, but I want to make sure that he doesn't use up all his bombs. It's happened a couple of times where one runner ended up doing angry bombs and actually messing themselves up. So gotta be careful of an angry bomb.
Yeah.
And Hanson going back in to check the big chest, but unfortunately going to be sorely disappointed. So I think Hanson's starting to run out of options at this point. So I think just going for the closest one in mind.
Yeah, definitely. Hanson is going to definitely run out of locations, I think, before Carol at this point. So we'll hopefully get over to the Witch's Hut sooner rather than later.
There we go. Nice snake out of what I've kind of dubbed the Rattler Room.
Nice.
More pejoratively, because it's sort of an irritating room to listen to, but that's neither here nor there. So I do want to say, too, these runners have been doing a great job so far. So if you've really been enjoying what you've seen, please give Hanson and TheLostCarol a follow on Twitch. They've been amazing runners so far. Kudos to both of them.
Yeah, most definitely. So Hanson is also going to be taking care of hammer pegs here. I believe just a piece of heart to be found. Yeah, then from there aren't too many more places for him to go.
No, so hopefully he remembers that mushroom. I mean, we've all been sitting here going, "Go mushroom!"
Yeah, as I have seen in chat, though, at this point, Turtle Rock is fully clearable. So that would be really unfortunate if that is what Hanson decides to do next. Although, based on how many items are available there, it's not a bad play.
We get a Batcave check, and that's not a bad play. You're right, that's not a bad play either.
I mean, as commentators and what we've seen so far, we know that Turtle Rock probably doesn't have anything. It might have the boots, so that might help for Desert Palace, but yeah, he's gotta get that flute.
Little love from the bat only.
So TheLostCarol is choosing to clear out left side first, getting all of Swamp done in one fell swoop. No need to dip back into the dungeon after the boss fight. We know that on the left side here, there isn't a whole heck of a lot. The big key, which houses, I think, a big 20, and maybe an arrow upgrade or something like that.
How would you personally pull off Swamp Palace? Because left side is kind of a bit of a work, but how do you do it? Do you clear out left side when you can, or do you do it second?
If Swamp is especially later in a run and I'm maybe only one item away from go mode, I would skip left side first, and if I don't find anything in the back half of Swamp that's of value, or if I know that there are still 2 items over on the left side, then maybe I'll dip back in. But I try and avoid it if I'm close to go mode. If I'm just running the dungeon normally, I'll clear it out first, and I'll just do a full clear.
And it looks like Hanson is going to go clear out Mothula at this point. He's really looking. He's got to be frustrated at this point, and I can't blame him.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if Mothula can have anything. Do we already get the 2 items out of Skullwoods?
I've been trying to keep track. I think Mothula does have something if I've kept track, but I haven't been doing the best job of keeping the track of the items, unfortunately.
That is okay. I think Hanson's going to show us soon what Mothula is hiding.
Sooner rather than later. And it's the big key, which may or may not have disappointment for Hanson, but at least get a blue pendant. So if on the bad chance he is thinking of checking pedestal, possibility that, I don't know. That's one pendant down.
Yeah, that is true. If you're really running out of spots, then if you're gonna go into a pendant dungeon, you might as well clear it off on the assumption that hey, pedestal could still be in play at this point. So Melee Wizard posting a question in the chat. What do we think? Has Hanson forgotten about the mushroom, or is it a matter of I don't want to check that spot yet? I'm thinking that he is knocking off literally every other location first. And just thinking there's no way that mushroom could have anything. If he's forgotten about it, and he's forgotten that he even has it, then that's a bigger problem, I think.
I personally think it's a little mix of both, because there's definitely more item concentration in other areas, and just a simple fetch quest that could easily result in nothing. But oh, wait.
As we're talking about it, this looks good. He's maybe doing it.
Yes!
So it was definitely a case of it's my last possible location, and I'm going to leave it to the last possible second to check it out.
And I can't blame Hanson. I mean, fetch quests just have such a low useful item yield that, yeah, I couldn't blame him.
I have noticed a slight uptick if Mushroom is early enough in a run that it seems like it might have something of value. But, oh, yeah, those fetch quests, nah.
I love how Hanson left a tip for the potion store manager in the form of a bomb.
Yeah. There have been a lot of bombs dropped here in this run so far from both of our runners, understandably.
And if we could hear their mics, I'm sure there's been a lot more going on.
All right, so Carol has full cleared Swamp Palace here. That's another crystal dungeon taken care of. Where do they go next? They need that lamp, I think, to start navigating some of those dark rooms. So that means they got to get back to Pod.
Yeah, and I think Hanson, I have a feeling Hanson might go check out the Mire area now that the flute is underway.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got Misery Mire and Desert Palace left on his list of crystals to grab, so it perfectly makes sense to head over in that direction. And if he goes into Desert first, then we'll actually have final word on whether or not it's boots locked or not.
And TheLostCarol getting his blue mail finally. And it looks like they both might go into Mire at the same time. Interesting, around there. They're high-fiving each other just about.
Ooh, TheLostCarol heading over to Checkerboard Cave. Already did the Mire shed, but didn't have the mirror on the last visit around to Mire, so this makes sense.
And we're gonna get confirmation as to whether it's boots locked or not. Oh, red mail and checkerboard, not bad.
Ooh, maybe boots locked. Maybe. If this is not the big key, then this is going to be boots locked.
Boots! Sorry to yell, but that was just kind of the perfect surprise place for it. Oh my goodness.
Wow, fantastic.
I think we can officially say that Hanson is in go mode as of now.
Yep.
And Hanson's got to be feeling really, really good about that.
Yeah, not even bothering with that chest in the back. Definitely knows he's in go mode.
And I think Carol's going to be just about there, roughly, if I'm not mistaken, here in a minute.
Yep. Unfortunately for Carol, has to figure out where that lamp is.
Oh, yeah, that's going to make running around Mire in the basement there really dicey. Let's hope Carol hasn't forgotten about that part.
It's interesting that TheLostCarol chose to skip that the vanilla big key chest in Palace of Darkness. Hopefully remembers that is a location that they should check sooner rather than later. With the boots in hand, might do Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb, which are checks that Hanson will likely not do.
Yeah, that's true. I think TheLostCarol, though, is going to still have a little bit of time lost because they got to go into Pod anyway and get that crystal, so that's going to send him back a little bit still. And Hanson getting the Desert Crystal and is going to make a beeline to Mire now.
So yeah, unfortunately for TheLostCarol, the boots being where they were has led to, I think, Hanson being handed a bit of a lead at this point. It's going to be difficult for Carol to catch up at this point, but it is the randomizer. Stranger things have happened. A couple of vitreous deaths, some tricky Ganon's Tower shenanigans could put Hanson back a little bit, but he's in pretty good shape at this point.
Oh, they have said before that Ganon's Tower is the great equalizer, so it ain't over until the Fat Fairy sings.
That is very true.
I do have to say that I can't imagine there being many Vitreous deaths, what with the silver arrows and all. It's gonna make quick work of them.
Yeah, definitely.
That, my friend, is what I call clear eyes. Because it clears out Vitreous so fast, you go, wow. I've said it before, and I will say it again. That is the truth.
So Lost Carol takes care of Lanmoas, and it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do next. Probably check out the Bonkrock's King's Tomb, but fingers crossed they end up going back to Pod.
Well, they're gonna have to. Well, as I said too, he's gonna have to go back that way anyway, just to get the crystals. So I can't. I imagine I'll get the lamp once he gets back in Pod.
Yeah. So still looking for the big key on Hanson's side there.
Yeah, that's the fun part of Meyer. It's either easygoing getting that big key, or you're gonna have to get a run around.
And there it is.
Speaking of big keys. Well, that actually kind of worked out perfectly for Hanson, so that's right on the way.
Yeah, that location, if it's not going to be one of the first chests on that right side, being in that location, I think that's the compass room, I think. That's a really good spot for the big key to be sitting around.
Yeah, it always stinks when it's in the vanilla location. Then you have to sit there and wait for the wall and think to yourself, and boring. At least you can play with the tiles. You can't play with a wall.
Yeah. So it looks like Lost Carol is going to be using that mirror on the Haunted Grove ledge here.
And Carol will find nothing but disappointment. And Hanson in good shape to take out Vitreous now. Even better shape.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking that Lost Carol might go into a Skullwoods, or no? Oh, okay, we're gonna do Graveyard Ledge probably.
And there we go with Vitreous. What did I tell you? Wow. Lame item too, but at this point, it's go mode. Who cares what the item is? And I believe, if I am not mistaken, that is Hanson's final crystal.
It sure is.
Y'all know what time it is?
In just a short while, Hanson will be making his way up to Ganon's Tower. And in Ganon's Tower, there are 22 chests where the big key can be. So put your guesses in the chat. We are looking for a number between 1 and 22. Where is Ganon's Tower big key going to be today?
Unfortunately, since we're not on one of the speed gaming channels, I believe it's not going to count toward anything, if I'm not mistaken. But there are still lots of kudos points and love to go around. So, what are you thinking, though, Sabo?
I have been terrible at guessing the big key game the last little while. I'm going to say chest number 10. I like one of the ones, if we're following the regular pattern, I like one of the ones in the rando room. And I'm going to go with number 10 today. What do you think, Rick?
I kind of want to go with the one in the fire bar room today, so I think I'm going to go with that one. I think is that number. I think that's 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, with the regular, if they do the first 2 on right side and then go left, then that would be number 8.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes it's a little tricky for me to keep track of all those chests, but
Yeah. So Carol is definitely earning some frequent flyer miles here, flying all over Hyrule, trying to figure out where it is this lamp could be.
I think we're gonna have a blown up chest once he actually finds out where it is.
Yeah. Alrighty, and at 156.07, Hanson enters Ganon's tower.
And behind door number 1, we have...
Small key and 300 rupees, and mirroring out, choosing not to go right side. I find that the right side play doesn't have quite as much value as it used to. It seemed to be kind of like a lucky, risky kind of play that could really pay off, but I don't know, right side's been not paying off for a lot of runners these days.
Hilariously, my last commentated run, it was in chest number 1.
Oh, nice.
And we'll soon be seeing if my prediction comes out correct.
We are at chest 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Money for the kids' college fund. There's our big key!
We were close. 7. 7 is our big key for Ganon's tower today.
So for those of you who guessed 7, congratulations! What have they won, Sabo?
Well, as a holdover prize from the previous tournament, the gift, parting gift today is Herfy Durfy's love and affection.
Excellent, and for those of you who got number 7, you have also gotten Rick's kudos points. But it's the points are like Whose Line, and the points don't matter, so...
Nice.
But it's always fun to get Rick's kudos points, so 1 kudos point to everybody in the chat today because I love you so much.
Aw, that's so nice.
No cash value.
Non-transferable. Yeah, shoutouts to Myrne for guessing, what was it, chest number 5, I believe? So we're playing Price is Right rules, so that will be our closest guess for today.
And that means I totally failed for today, but that's okay. I'm feeling good anyway.
So with Mothula going down, the Lost Carol has got very few locations left to check. We're really hoping that we don't see a Turtle Rock play at this point. But it's a possibility. It is on the table, at least at this point.
I would think that Lost Carol will go more toward a crystal dungeon just to kind of start clearing stuff out, because he's got to feel really behind right now without that lamp. So that's got to be tough for him.
Meanwhile, Hanson has entered the Gauntlet. A tricky set of rooms here. Unfortunately, these little blue horsehead guys aren't really cooperating, but gets through that room okay. Misses with the arrow, but quickly with a sword there. Very nice.
Fun little fact, they're actually called Zazaks. Z-A-Z-A-K.
It's a terrible, terrible name.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it names something like really cool in their culture. I don't know.
Ooh, maybe, yeah.
And not bad work of Lanmo 2. now for the fun Wizrobe Gauntlet. I did this seriously for the first time last night, and boy, did I have no luck in it.
Ugh. Yeah, it's a pretty precise block placement there for both of those rooms, and in particular the one with the conveyors on it. So yeah, when you can pull it off, eventually it's a pretty swag trick, and it feels good, but not easy for sure.
Our runners make it look really easy, though, so I definitely give them kudos points, too. And Carol heading into Mire. I have a feeling he's going to be trying to... maybe trying to full clear it in the hopes that it's there, so... might be disappointed there as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting the feeling that maybe not aware of the two item locations that Carol skipped in Palace of Darkness. One being the lamp, and the other actually being the bacon sword, which we saw Hanson pick up in Palace of Darkness as well.
Yeah, that's not gonna... Oh, wow, nice dash through Moldorm. Oh, falling, though. At least the good news is, though, that there's no chance of falling down 2 floors of Ganon's tower in this one, so that's not all that bad.
No, it's pretty quick to get back up and into the fight again.
But that was still a really sweet dash move from Hanson there. Good job. And now there's no worries, and let's see what's in the last chest of Hanson's run. Bomb upgrade!
Alright, getting ready for the Aga 2 fight here. Pretty nice setup in that first one there, gets a double.
And the blue ball, unfortunately, not allowing anything, but that was a nice triple to make up for it. And that was a pretty swank Aghanim fight right there.
Yeah, looked really good. Ooh, and TheLostCarol without that lamp there. Without the lamp, having to use up all their magic on the fire rod there. That's unfortunate. Can't light all those torches.
Or maybe not, because there was actually a full magic there. Nice. Hopefully she's still... So go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Hanson's in the Ganon fight now. With the Tempered Sword and Silver Arrows, shouldn't be too much trouble, but only on the blue mail. Didn't pick up the red from the Checkerboard Cave, so the hits from the bats and any hugs from Ganon will still be pretty painful.
And it looks like I got an insurance bottle, but want to be careful not to use them all up too quick here.
All right, Hanson into phase 3 here.
Let's see if he can pull off Torch Blitz here.
Ooh,
not quite.
And getting bumped around there by Ganon, unfortunately.
Ooh, a nice double. Ooh, careful, Hanson. Now, the thing you want to watch out with Ganon in this fight, too, is not only is there a lot of damage, he can easily bump you around pretty hard. And I don't think we have to worry about that no more because Hanson has finished Ganon.
So Hanson has won this race with an official SRTV time of 2:05:41. Put your GGs in the chat.
GG, Hanson, GG. Very nicely done. And now let's see how the Lost Carol does here in Mire as well.
Oh, and I think what we're seeing here is Carol may have forfeited this match. You know, it's understandable not knowing where the heck that lamp is. So what we'll do is we'll try and get both of our runners in here shortly.
Sounds like a good plan. So unfortunately, that's got to be frustrating for Carol, but Carol did really, really good. Carol's done really, really good as well as Hanson. So honestly, you know, you can't fault both of them. They really did a good job. Just sometimes the rando really isn't your friend. But yeah, I know I would probably be pulling some anger pulls in this seed too. I can't blame them.
Alrighty, so we'll maybe get Hanson in here in just a second. It looks like he's just kind of getting his mic set up at the moment.
Get a good breather too.
So as we're waiting to get our runners hopefully in for a little interview, if you haven't already, given them a quick follow on Twitch. That would be very much appreciated. They put in a great show for you guys today. And we'll have both of them in shortly to kind of chat about it. Want to also shout out to our tracker, Melee Wizard. Thank you so much for keeping everything on track for us today.
Yeah, definitely Melee was a good job to you, and a good job with Jex Refi too with the restreaming there. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, and we are joined by our winner of this race, Hanson. How you doing?
Congratulations, by the way, on your win.
Looks like we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties at the moment. We'll try and get him up and running in just a second.
Kick that mic. Kick it hard.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, there we go.
Good. Hello.
GG, congratulations, and everything else in between.
How you feeling?
Pretty good. I mean, I feel like after the start of the seed, I had to make a lot of gambles and go to trolley locations, and it just turned out that some of them paid off. And like, okay, I'm not doing that bad, but still.
So I think the question on everybody's mind, both ours and chat's, the mushroom.
Yeah. So I didn't have to. I just didn't think about him. Like, I'm gonna find it and use it whenever I get the float, right? because it's out of the way. And then I go to catfish, and then I go back to the pyramid. I'm like, oh, that's the mirror. And I think about it. I'm like, I could go back and try and route the mushroom. It's probably nothing. Let's just skip it. And then at some point a bit later, just before, it's either going to be at mushroom or I'm going to do pendant dirt or rock. So I decided to go for the mushroom.
Yeah, when you grab that mirror off the pyramid ledge, and then it looked like you were heading up to the mushroom, to the witch's hut there, we were getting really excited. And then you faked us out, and you turned over and did a graveyard ledge instead.
Did my opponent go to mushroom early?
Yes. See, it was a really interesting race because Carol had the flute super early, but did not have the mirror for ages.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, each of you had something that the other didn't for the longest time, and that really played on some really interesting route divergence.
But other than the flute kind of tripping you up, and then that kind of weird boots being in Desert Palace there, we were pretty close to go mode fairly early on, wouldn't you think?
Yes, for half the seed, it was just, where is this flute? And when I get the flute, I'm like, maybe Desert Palace is bootlock, or I don't have to. I had the all 3 pendants at that point, and then Desert Palace was in fact bootlock, but that was fine.
Yeah, it worked out all right that it was in the very next chest over there.
I think that's something I like to call key under the doormat.
Indeed. So
were you feeling at all behind because you didn't have the flute for a while?
I mean, I felt behind after this thief town's called Wood the Bagel at the beginning. So like I said, I'm like, I'm pretty sure my opponent didn't do that, and they actually cleared the dungeons. So we're gonna go and try some out-of-the-way locations. It started with the Firewall Naginas. So every time I found something like that, the little pieces, and like the mirror on the pyramid after doing... I didn't go to that mountain early, so I didn't have the hammer, so it was really out of the way. It got better.
Yeah, it did. It did actually, yeah.
It was really cool how
a
lot of those gambles paid off for you.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah. So we've got your opponent, TheLostCarol, in the waiting room. We're going to bring him in as well so he can join the conversation here. So just hold on one second, everybody.
Certainly.
And welcome, TheLostCarol. GG's, tough seed, huh?
Yeah. Just GG to Hanson.
And welcome, TheLostCarol. GG's, tough seed, huh?
Yeah, I want to apologize to the viewers. That was just a disaster. GG to Hanson. That was a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think you did pretty good there, considering the circumstances, so I wouldn't sell yourself short to any.
That was just a disaster. I guess my...
Yeah, I think you did pretty good there, considering the circumstances, so I wouldn't sell yourself short to any.
In the Vicky chess and pod.
Of course it was. It was one thing after another tonight. So.
Sometimes that's just how the rando falls, but so I remember seeing on your sheet there that you didn't want to find the mushroom. So how are you feeling about the mushroom now?
What do you mean?
So I know it's a mushroom, but it's not usually an item you want to find, but now that you found it, and it did get you an early flute to help you out, so...
Right. That definitely did help out, but, yeah, it's just, it just kept being one thing after another, just trying to find the right items, and just items that were good were popping up, but just not the right ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely kind of how it felt for this one. Because you guys did have a pretty good assortment of tools, but it was just like a couple of key things that yeah, eluded you, unfortunately. That is kind of the way I guess it goes with Randomizer sometimes. Sometimes you get a little unlucky and you miss that one location that had the item you're looking for.
Right. And then I died blind several times, and I thought I had marked ice as a 5/6, and it was a pendant, so I completely wasted my time going into Ice Palace. So
Okay, that explains that. Because I mean, you went. I actually thought the ice play wasn't a bad one, given where you were at that point in the run. But definitely, if you had marked it as a crystal, then that would have made a lot more sense as to why you went for that
yeah,
one.
I never would have gone in there otherwise.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yes,
Especially because it turned out there was nothing in there.
Yeah.
If it makes me feel any better on Ice Palace, I was playing through a seed yesterday, and I had a heck of a time with Ice Palace, so I completely empathize.
Yep. But again, all the credit goes to Hanson. Did a great job. Got the W.
It looks like Blind had a lot of kills tonight.
Oh.
You're telling me you got killed a lot. I got killed a lot. It's never fun when you get to the Aqua with green mail and eight hearts and you try to do it.
Well, like we had worked on a race last night, and one of the issues they were having was mail. So like I knew where a mail upgrade was. It was on Lake Hiley Island. It's just I couldn't have the mirror to get it. So it's like I know it's there. I know it can help, but I cannot get it right now.
Well, hey, you did find the red mail at least, too. I don't think Hanson found that one.
Then I went straight to Checkerboard Cave to check out the stuff over there, and then I found red.
Yeah, I'm usually happy to find red mail, too, because enemies tend to give me a lot of hugs. So.
They were definitely doing that tonight.
So
Alrighty, well, I guess that might about do it. Any final thoughts on this seed, or how you've been enjoying the tournament so far? Either one of you.
Haven't had that much luck this tournament, but that's how it is. That's ultimately how it is with the randomizer. You never know where everything's going to be, and like that was the ultimate thing tonight. I kept just kind of wanting to just forfeit and be done with it, but I knew until you see that dot done, anything can happen. It's worth it to keep pressing on.
So I guess one of my final questions is, and this comes from one of my friend. What's one thing you take away out of this run? Just anything in general.
Perseverance. Just again, I just wanted to give up so bad a couple of times because I knew I was so far behind I was never going to make it, but just I knew to keep going because something could have happened to the other player. They could have ran into a problem, and I mean, I started getting into a groove towards the end. I just knew to keep going, and I was about there.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that a bit. Same thing here. I feel like I'll need a lot more practice after this, just fighting these bosses over and over and getting more experience with them so you can do them even when you have less than ideal equipment.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you both for running a great race here. Unfortunately, ending in a forfeit never feels good, but that's just kind of how it is with the randomizer. Sometimes you guys put on a great show for us, so thank you so much for that. A shout out to our tracker today, Melee Wizard. Jex Refi on the restream, first time restreamer, did an excellent job. A little bit of time getting set up there, but now it was a great broadcast, so that was awesome. And thanks to my co-commentator Rick. I had a great time hanging out with you, and I'll leave you with the final word.
Absolutely, and it's been great working with you, Sabo. I think just remember a little note to all our players: it ain't over till the Fat Fairy sings. I also thank Melee Wizard and Jex Refi for a great stream. I thank the chat. It's always fun to see you get hyped and have a great time. And a great kudos to our players who've done a really great job. And if you have liked what you've seen, there's going to be a lot more matches around to see for Randomizer. So let me see if I can find a couple for you. There's going to be some a little later tonight, and there's all throughout the week. So you have your pick of the litter. And I want to thank you for stopping by. And this is Rick signing off. Thank you. See you next time.